Hey, how's it going, everyone? I'm Nathan from the ebook reader blog. So Amazon recently released a new software update for Kindles 5.18.3. They conveniently left out the information on the release notes like they usually do. It just says, the usual performance improvements, bug fixes, and general enhancements that it always says. But they actually made a big change that they didn't bother mentioning here to the font layout settings. So we have a whole bunch of new spacing settings now. So they didn't show up at first. It must be one of those features that has to be remotely activated. But I happen to be adjusting the font on my Kindle, and I noticed this new spacing setting down here at the bottom of the screen. So the spacing used to be located on the layout section. Now it's located on the font adjustment window, and there used to only be 3 line spacing settings. I mean, they've had the same 3 settings for as long as I can remember, as long as I've been following Kindle. So it's kind of surprising they finally added some new line spacing settings. You've also got paragraph spacing settings now, some word spacing and character spacing as well. So you can drastically change the layout of your ebooks just by adjusting these settings to your preference. So yeah, it's kind of surprising they didn't bother to mention this in the release notes because it's kind of a big deal. A lot of people have been asking for more line spacing options for a long time. And so now we're finally getting it. So far this update's been released for the 11th and 12th gen Kindles, the Kindle Colorsoft and the Kindle Scribe. Like the 10th gen Kindles haven't gotten the latest update yet. They're still in line to get updates, so they should get it too at some point, but they're still on the older software. But yeah, so you have to install the newer software. It might not show up right away, but it will show up eventually. And then you have all these new spacing options on your Kindle, which is pretty cool. So here's my 11th gen Paperwhite, which is on the older 5.18.2 software. So it doesn't have the new spacing settings yet. It still has the same 3 options over on the layout tab like it has always had. So they didn't actually remove any of the spacing settings, so you can still get these same exact settings. If you had a preference to one of these settings before, you can still get those new settings on this software. So like the 1 line spacing notch is the default, then you got 0 is the smallest line spacing available on the previous software. So there's actually 2 wider line spacing settings now, and then all the additional settings for paragraph spacing and character spacing and all of that. So yeah, obviously it looks completely different. We have the same font layout here. Everything's the same except for the spacing. So definitely makes a big difference in terms of the layout. You can kind of customize things exactly how you want. I still kind of like the tightest line spacing. I got used to that on the 6-inch, like the Kindle Voyage. It's just kind of maximizing the line spacing, or the the amount of characters on the screen. So I got kind of used to it with the smallest line spacing option, but I know some people like to have it thicker. So all the other settings still are the same. I've gone through and compared it with the older software. There aren't any new margin settings or font sizes or anything like that. So they just changed the spacing. So yeah, got a lot of new spacings now. So yeah, the widest spacing on the old software is number 2 on the new software. So yeah, you got 2 additional wider options now. So definitely a lot more to play around with to get the books to lay out exactly how you want. Unfortunately, there isn't a negative range to the paragraph spacing. Some devices kind of have an option to adjust that. So if you have a book with paragraphs or a spacing between the paragraphs, you can get rid of that. But I tried that with one book that I have, and there's no way to get rid of the spacing. You can just make it larger. So yeah, you still have the same margin settings as before. Hopefully they'll add some new margin adjustment settings at some point too. I know a lot of people would like to have the smaller margins. Even I would like maybe take another 1/8 inch off the side margins there. Hopefully they'll add some more, settings for that too. So you can save all this stuff to themes if you've never used themes on your Kindle. If you wanted to have like a book with, if the layout's kind of weird, you needed to adjust the spacing settings, but you didn't want that to be like the global setting for all your books, you can kind of adjust different themes here, and then you can save your themes. If you've never used those before, they do actually work pretty convenient if you need to make adjustments to your fonts quickly. But so that's basically it in a nutshell, the new line spacing and paragraph and word spacing and character spacing and all that. So it's definitely cool to see Amazon finally adding some new useful features to the Kindles for a change. They really haven't been doing a whole lot recently, but it's kind of weird they didn't bother to mention the release notes. But yeah, it's definitely cool to have some new settings. You have to be on the 5.18.3 software to get it, so you have to do a manual update or just wait for it to install automatically. So that's it for this video. Check out the ebook reader blog for more Kindle news and reviews. Thanks for watching.